Now that you have more than one image placed together, it is time to add a layer mask so we can hide or show the pieces of this that we want. On the layer palette at the base is a tool with the box and a circle in the middle of it. This is the Add a Layer Mask button. So I do want to be on the layer I'm intending on hiding. In this case it's the rubber duck. And I will click the Add a Layer Mask button. This adds a second box to this layer. Notice the extra white box here. It is on the layer mask at the moment. Watch as it moves back to the image. If I use my paintbrush now, while this box is here on the image, I will be drawing directly on my image, as opposed to when I click here, now I'm on the mask, I will hide or show. It is important that you notice where that extra box is. The premise behind the layer mask is really pretty simple. Black is going to hide and white is going to show. So we're going to start by just talking about the brush tool, but there are a handful of ways that you can make black and white happen. If I use the brush tool, right now I have whatever this size is. I can adjust up here where it says 150 currently. I can make my size smaller or larger. I can also adjust my hardness here. We'll get to that in a second. The other thing I can do is use my bracket keys, which are immediately next to the P on your keyboard. The left bracket key will make the brush smaller. The right bracket key will make it bigger. Currently I am having white on top. I need to be using black, so I'm going to switch here with this little arrow to make black on top. The keyboard shortcut for that is the letter X. X will flip between black and white. It actually is just flipping between the foreground and the background colors, so that stays true all the time. But right now those are my colors. So if I take with my black color and my brush and I draw on top, I will hide the layer, in this case the duck layer. Notice right now I have fuzzy edges. It is softly hiding and it's blending. If I come back up here to my brush options, my hardness is all the way down to 0. If I move though this to 100 and draw again, you can see there's a much crisper edge. We'll move over there so we can see. Do you see the scalloping happening? Okay, it's very crisp and a very hard edge. I'm going to suggest to you that when you are layer masking and hiding things, neither of these is the right answer. Okay, 100 is too hard and not forgiving enough, and 0 is too vague and too fuzzy, and you won't get a clean selection. Instead, I'm going to suggest that you live in the high 80s or low 90s with your hardness. That will give you, I'm going to switch back to white, that is going to give you a forgiving edge that still has some crispness to it. We'll go back to black now and so you can see. So it's definitely not fuzzy and blending like it was a moment ago, but we still have some forgiveness around here. Okay, so that hardness was in the high 80s and the low 90s. Okay. The other thing that I would like to make sure that you understand at this point is how opacity is going to work on a layer mask. Bringing my hardness down to 0 will help blend an object. See how the duck layer is fuzzing out into the background softly? But in the same way, I can take a harder brush. We'll go all the way to 100 just so we can see the contrast. And if I bring the opacity down, we'll say in the 20s, and now go across, you can start to see the pond layer coming through. I'm at 27%, so roughly 4 passes would make this at 100%. So that's about 50%. This is about 75%. And it's not an exact science, but you can see each scrub is getting rid of more and more of the layer. That's important to understand because you can combine the two of these things, have a soft brush, have a lower opacity brush to help blend transitions between things, as opposed to just a clean, it's there or it's not. Okay? So it'll work the same way back with white. We are softly bringing the duck back in. Sometimes you need a clean cutout, and sometimes you want to blend. Lower opacity and fuzzier brushes will help you when you are trying to blend.